Can we get back to where we used to be? Do we all feel the same? It's just a dream. Can we all laugh again before we're gone? I'm just saving the world. I'm just saving the world. I'm just saving the world from myself. Look in the eyes of strangers in the crowd. Do we all think and never say aloud things that we want and never say the words? I'm just
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome live to Cleveland Sports 360 with your host, LG, the voice of Cleveland Sports. Let's get it on, folks. LG, take it away.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Cleveland Sports 360 show. Tonight we got some special guests all the way from up north in our neighboring country, Canada. Joining us tonight live on the show are the Diamond Kings, Juice Baseball's very own Justin and Dwayne Curtis. If you're not familiar with fast pitch softball, you must be living in a jar somewhere, because you see the women playing it all the time. You see it on TV, championship women baseball teams. These guys are keeping Eddie Feiner's dream alive. Justin, are you on the phone? Did you unmute the phone, Jeff?
Okay, Justin.
Justin, can you hear me? Hello, Justin.
It's unmuted.
I could definitely hear something up there. Justin, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hey, we're going intercontinental, folks. That's what happens when you do this. Justin,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Calling from a landline.
Can you hear me?
I'm going to unmute and see if you can hear me. Hey, Justin, this is Jeff. Can you hear us?
I can hear you slightly. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I could hear you fine. No, don't worry. We're working on it.
Justin.
Okay, I'm calling in from another phone, too. Maybe that's better.
Hey, Dwayne, are you on the phone? Dwayne? Well, put a picture up.
Got one up. What's going on? It's unmuted. Hang in there, Justin. And Dwayne, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Okay, well, LG's getting back in his spot. Hang in there with us.
No worries.
Dwayne, can you hear me? Can any of you guys hear me up there in Canada?
You on the right mic?
Definitely I'm on the right mic. Turn my mic up a little bit, the gain. Justin, Dwayne, anybody? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we were supposed to have an action-packed show tonight full of fast-pitch baseball with all kinds of guys that played with Eddie Feigner, the king, in his court way back, that started in 1946 and went all the way through 2000. Justin, can you hear me? Dwayne?
We can hear you very faint. Can you hear us?
Who is that?
That's Justin.
Yeah, I can hear you now, man.
I just can't hear you. I can barely pick you up. Yeah, same thing here.
Well, tell us a little bit about the king and his court and what you guys are all about with the Diamond Kings. Can you hear me at all?
I think I can hear. I think you're asking me to tell you a little about the King of Diamonds and so I'll just go with it. But
yeah, go with that, man.
Off back in September when Dwayne approached myself and wanted to create a team, and not just a regular team to play in your regular recreational league around here, but an elite team of players whose main objective was not just winning baseball games for themselves, but to mentor younger players, support charities, and of course promote the game in general. Which fast pitch over the years has taken a little bit of a downward turn as far as popularity goes. Soccer and a few other sports have come in pretty strong. And one of the dying words of Eddie Feigner was to keep the game alive. And in fact, when Dwayne met him, he said that to Dwayne himself, and it's something that Dwayne has never forgotten. So it's one of our mottos, and coupled with the guys we have in there, we created a project that we call the Juice Project. And what that stands for is join us in creating enthusiasm. And what we hope to do is just, go around in these small towns and put on some shows for some of these kids and encourage the game of fast pitch to children of all ages, people of all ages in general, regardless of sex, gender, regardless of social status. We try and help out with some charity games. And, of course, we just try and raise a lot of money with, different events that we do as well. So this is going to be our inaugural year, and we got about 25 of North America's best fastball players going right now, including some guys who are making some comebacks who are currently in some halls of fame.
Well, you can hear me now, right?
I can barely hear you slightly. If I really struggle, I can hear a little bit of you.
Still right now?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit.
Well, that's good, man. You can hear me and you can understand what I'm saying to you, right?
Yes.
Well, that's great, man. I think we got the hookup going. Obviously,
I can barely hear you though. Like if there's any slight noise around here, then I won't be able to hear you.
Well, put some earplugs in, man. I can't help what's going on in Canada, for Christ's sake. You know what I'm talking about?
It's the snow. We got snow in our ears up here.
That's probably what it is, or ice. I'm surprised you're not out playing hockey somewhere, man.
I'm in the middle of a blizzard right now, so that could have something to do with it.
Hey, but anyways, you and Dwayne put together this Diamond Kings fast pitch softball team, obviously to keep the memory of Eddie Feigner alive. A lot of people don't realize what a great talent Eddie Feigner was. This guy had 141,576 strikeouts. He pitched 930 no-hitters, and he threw 238 perfect games. Do you guys have a pitcher? Dwayne, I'm going to ask you this question. Can you hear me, Dwayne?
Yeah, I can hear you, Larry.
You're a pitcher. You got a shoulder problem, obviously. We haven't heard of you playing in the last couple of months or so or whatever. Do you have any guys that are capable of even coming close to duplicating the numbers that a guy like Eddie Feigner put up?
No, absolutely not. I mean, the guy was a myth. He was a legend.
Yeah.
I remember when I first met him, 2001, I brought him into our town. Him in the court, Rich, Jack Knight, Bob Hale, actually. We took him golfing. Fainer threw me a uniform, and he said, "You're playing with us tonight." And I went, "What?" And, for a guy that grew up in fast pitch from the beginning, that's beyond an honor. That's the way I looked at it. And we took him golfing, went up, played the game. We played Dave Burney and the Hamilton Gators. Great guys. And Fainer said, "Here, you're going in, warm up." Okay. So I did, and I was about to walk to the mound. He stopped me, and he brought me back, and he said, "Listen, I've never done this before in my life. Take those off, put these on." And if you look at any videos of Eddie Feigner, you'll see he wears red spikes, low-cut red spikes. He'd never done it before. And he told me, he goes, "You're the first one to ever wear these and go out and pitch for us." That's just something you don't ever forget.
Oh, absolutely. What an honor, huh, Dwayne? But, Dwayne, coming into this game, you never played with the King in its court before that? I mean, this was your first inaugural event taking over for
That's
Feigner?
what it was. We did a charity event. They were coming in from North Dakota. And I'd talked to Eddie along the way as they were traveling down here. And, that was my first experience with him. He was a hard man, don't get me wrong. But when I saw him, it was, you ever see a hero?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You just sort of sit there and you're in awe.
Every time I look into the mirror, I see one, man.
Go out and play with his team. And then after the game was over, he was in a wheelchair because he had a stroke. So,
right.
He wasn't what he was. But the kids just clamored to him. He signed autographs. He talked to all the kids. We took him back to the local watering hole, as you call it. And I'll never forget it. Eddie pointed his finger at me. Rich and the guys were playing pool. He pointed his finger at me and said, "Come here." Sat me down, and that's what he said to me. He goes, "Look, my days are done. I'm a superstar in a dead man's sport. Do me a favor, keep fast pitch alive." And I've never forgotten it.
Well, obviously you
that
did,
was
man.
2001, and now here we are in 2013, and I met Justin, and we're just keeping what he said alive as best we can.
Now, the thing is, a lot of people don't realize Fainer had a stroke in 2000. You met him a year later, right?
That's right.
And then for 6 more years after you met him, he still traveled all over the place with the King in its court, putting on these exhibition softball fast pitch games. Isn't that right?
He did.
So
he
for
did.
7 years after the man had a stroke, he traveled the country and then some in a wheelchair, right?
Yeah, when he went to the ballpark, I mean, he did come out and try and throw. He did whatever he could. But, he had a stroke, and was he still part of the game? He did the commentary and stuff still, every game they went to. And God bless the man.
Now, Justin, can you hear me?
Yep.
Back to the Diamond Kings and a little bit about your sport. You also own a baseball glove company, isn't that correct? Juice Gloves?
That's correct. That's the same. Stands for the same thing as our project. It's Join Us in Creating Enthusiasm, and it's a not-for-profit organization. And what we do is we just, some guys that have the money, they buy their glove. I give them a decent price, and what I ask them to do is to maybe throw in a couple of bucks extra, and we make up another glove for some kid in his town, and get them out playing the game of baseball.
Now we got some pictures, right, Jeff? You got the pictures up of the Juice Gloves, and they're green. Right?
That's the team colors there. I know a lot of people aren't too keen on the green, but when they got their green and yellow uniforms on there, they're basically the Oakland A uniforms. They look really sharp out there all together. And I threw in some matching batting gloves as well. Now, it comes with your name embroidered on your glove, whatever you want, embossed team logo in the palm, any color combinations you want. And, of course, we got matching batting gloves. You can get them in any color combination with your number, your team name, your team logo, your name, whatever you want embroidered on them.
So this is really the first season that the Diamond Kings are really going to get this thing off the ground and get going. You got a lot of former great stars on the team. Some guys that played with Fainer, like Eddie Aucoin and Darrick Brown, right? And they're going to be joining us a little bit.
They're going to be calling in a little bit too.
Right. What do these guys think of the Diamond Kings trying to keep Eddie's dream alive? Fellas that actually played with Eddie Feigner. What is their inspiration behind a guy like you?
Well, I'd love to answer that question for you because I'm going to be honest with you. When Dwayne first approached me with the idea and some of the names that he threw at me that he wanted to approach about it, I thought he was crazy. I thought there's no way you're going to get guys like that to come back and on their own dime start coming out and playing games. And they've got busy schedules. A lot of them are coaches. A lot of them own sporting goods stores. And I couldn't believe the response we got. Like I said, we got 25 of some of the greatest players that I've ever heard of responded and said, yeah, that's something we'd love to do.
And tell us a little bit. People can go to your website. Give us the name of. Give us the name of your site and how these people can find the Diamond Kings website, man. Give that web address, will you? Real slow so people can write it down if they have to.
Yeah, sure. I'll give it to you right now. You can get it off Facebook. You could send myself or Dwayne Curtis a friend request, and I'm sure they can find our names and the spelling of them on your website. And basically the website is http:// juicesbaseball.wix.com/Diamond Kings.
Well, there you have it, folks. You got to get up there and check out this action-packed roster. We have it right here on the show. We're going to be joined by some other guests coming in from the Diamond Kings. These guys are scattered throughout the United States and Canada. Hey, Dwayne, before we get out of the first segment of the show, I just got to ask you a question, man.
Sure.
Being a baseball pitcher or a fast pitch guy, obviously your arm didn't take. I mean, you look at these fast pitch guys like Fainer. He was able to throw from 1946 to right up around 2000. That's a big career, man. 54 years throwing the baseball. You don't see major leaguers doing that, right?
No.
Okay,
it's
so
totally different. The two are totally different. I mean, if you look at baseball, you're coming overhand, the ball's
Right.
going down. There's a lot more torque throwing fast pitch, and the ball moves different too. I mean, hard ball, it's going down. Fast pitch, it's going up. You throw changeups, you throw drops. It's hard on the arm, absolutely. How Fainer did it, I have no idea.
now, with your pitching motion, do you feel it hard on your arm, even trying to duplicate some of the things Fainer did? Do you find that at all stressful to your arm?
I did for a long time because, like Justin said, I'm coming back from a shoulder injury
Right.
too.
That's interesting.
And,
Let's just touch on that
it's
shoulder
just
injury.
Work. Everybody trains differently, but I was to the point where I was going to pack it in. I was done.
Yeah, so
And
talking
I just
about...
decided, you know what? No way. I'm not giving up this easy. And
Hey.
I've been working hard. I've been training hard, and it's hard to come back. I've been out of the loop for a while, but if you love something, you go get it, and that's why I'm coming back this year. That's why we've got this team together, and
Okay, but hang on a
love the
minute.
game.
Can you hear me, man? Hang on a minute. I just got to get to the bottom of this real quick. There's a guy that the Cleveland Browns drafted onto the roster last year, and they made him the starting quarterback, who left Major League Baseball after 6 failed years in the minor league organization, named Brandon Whedon, who suffered shoulder problems throwing the baseball in the New York Yankees minor league system. How long can a guy like Whedon actually expect to be a NFL quarterback that already suffered shoulder problems in the Major League Baseball, man? Do you have any guess on something
You want
like
my
that?
honest opinion?
Absolutely.
I'd give him a year or two.
That's it, huh?
That's my opinion.
Okay, man. So when we...
I hope he doesn't find me on Facebook and rip me apart for saying it, but that's my opinion.
I think he's a little afraid to take any pressure, man. So, he falls down as soon as the defensive guys come around him anyways, man. So that's part of what I think his problem is. He folds under pressure. So if you tell the truth,
there
you tell
go.
the truth, man.
That's my opinion. Hope he's not mad at me.
Hey, let him be mad. He's been mad at me in the past. But there you go, Browns fans. You're suffering a shoulder injury. You want to play NFL quarterback, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. We're going to come back with more of the Cleveland Sports 360 show right here on StreamingSportsTalk.com. In the second half of the show, we're going to welcome the coach, John Blair, and Bryan Burrows Ingalls when we come back. Don't turn that dial.
Look in the eyes of strangers in the crowd. Do we all think and never say aloud things that we want and never say the words? I'm just saving the world. I'm just saving the world. I'm just saving the world from myself.
And hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cleveland Sports 360 show. Our special guest tonight, all the way from Toronto, Canada, and even further north than that, we have Justin I can't even say the last name. I like to say Tersigni. Did I get it right, Justin? Did you unmute the phone, Jeff? Justin.
Yep.
How do you say that
You
last
got it.
name?
That's
Tersigni?
Tersigni.
Tersigni. I knew I was going to get it wrong. And
It's as common as Smith when you're in Italy.
and Dwayne Curtis, and joining us live right now on the phone. Hopefully, we have the coach of the Diamond Kings, John Blair. John, are you with us this evening? John Blair. How about Bryan, Burrows, Ingalls? Bryan, are you on the phone?
I'm here. I got you.
How about that? Where's the coach, man? He's missing in action or what? What kind of coach that don't show up to an interview?
Maybe he signed with another team.
Hey, who's going to find?
The Boston Red Sox were looking for somebody.
They need somebody up there after Francona.
You guys don't. You got Francona.
We do. We got Francona. I think there's a level of excitement that the Cleveland Indians fans haven't seen in a while, man. And I talked to Bart Zeller last night all the way in Arizona, who went over to Goodyear Park, and he says he's liking what he's seeing the coaching staff do this year with the Cleveland Indians. My major concern with the Indians is the starting pitchers. But that's a whole nother story for another time, man. But where's the head coach at? John Blair? He's missing in action. Justin, what kind of organization you guys running up there, man?
Well, you know, when Dwayne approached me, he wanted me to be the administrator because I was a businessman. I try to get out by telling him that I'm not a very successful one. Isn't that a criteria that should be taken into account? But
I saw that on the roster. It says
but I didn't hear back, and I just kind of crossed my fingers and hope he'd get in on time. He may call in still.
I see it says Justin Tersigni, shortstop and administrator. And I thought to myself, what the hell does this guy do? You talk about having a meeting at the pitcher's mound. You probably drive the frickin' umpires up, crazy, huh? But, hey, anyways, we're joined by Bryan Burrows Ingalls, who is the catcher for the Diamondbacks. Bryan, what the hell's going on up there, man?
Up in New York, we got a lot less snow than we got in Toronto, I'll tell you that. I'm looking outside and I see green, and I'm getting amped up and ready to go for the spring and summertime.
Well, it's on its way, buddy. That's what I hear. You know, it's going to bypass Cleveland and hit you guys in New York and Boston again, man. So we've been
I'm an
fortunate.
optimist, so I'm hoping it skips us over, but we'll probably get hammered.
Where are you at in New York?
I'm about 40 minutes from Syracuse.
Okay,
I'm right outside of Utica, so
I hear you, man. That's
cheering hard for the Orange at the disappointing game against Louisville this weekend.
You know, I saw today that the Vegas odds makers are actually picking Louisville and Indiana to take the whole thing, man. It's between those two. I'm not gonna put my money on either one of those guys. I think we're gonna see somebody come up from behind that they unexpected and take this NCAA tournament this year. So hopefully the odds makers.
I think it's pretty wide open. You got about 15, 20 teams, and I wouldn't be surprised if they take it. It's just all year long the top seeds have been dropping, so you never know.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about catching this fast pitch there, Bryan. What do you think of these guys that can throw the ball like that, man?
I'll tell you, it's really impressive. I got into catching fast pitch about 5 years ago, and that's coming from catching a baseball for 15. And it's just the speed that these guys throw the ball is absolutely unreal. I mean, I'm used to catching baseball at 90, 95 miles an hour. In the first big tournament I went and caught, the first pitch that came to me, I didn't even get a glove on. And they're throwing 80, 85. And I turned around and said, how the heck am I supposed to catch this? And just the speed and the reaction time you have to have with the ball moving like that, it's just absolutely unreal.
And that's coming from a hard ball. That's coming from a hard ball background, right?
Yes.
Tell us, what level of regular baseball did you make it to, man?
I had a couple of bad injuries in high school, and I ended up going D3. I went to college at SUNY Cortland.
So you played a little bit of college baseball, and you caught some damn good pitchers if they're going 95 miles an hour, right?
I did. There's a couple guys that ended up getting drafted and then played. Didn't go too far, but yeah, it's I've caught baseball that fast, and then I've caught fast pitch about that too.
So A little bit about fast pitch. The guy's actually standing a little bit closer to the catcher than they do in Major League Baseball, right?
Yeah, they're starting off at 46 feet. In Major League Baseball, it's 60 feet 6 inches. But the men are allowed to hop. A lot of times they're jumping another 5-6 feet, so they're releasing the ball at 40 feet, which is 2/3 of the length it is in baseball. So just think about the reaction time there. It's absolutely unreal.
And then being a catcher and trying to catch something like this that's coming at you like a rocket grenade being launched at you, how many guys are successful at hitting these guys, man?
You know what? You'd be surprised. There are some guys that are pretty successful at it, but for the most part, if you've got a pitcher rolling and they've got their drop ball working, they have their off speed working in a rise ball, some of these guys are almost untouchable. But there's also always the guys out there that you're afraid of, and as much as it seems like it's unhittable, which a lot of times it is, there's always that guy that's on fire that day or that weekend, and you can't just be in cruise control. You always have to go 100% every pitch. So
now, were you ever able to witness this Eddie Feigner in person before he had his stroke or anything? Did you ever see this guy throw to softball?
I wasn't. I've heard a lot about it from a lot of the guys that have kind of mentored me in fast pitch, but I was never able to get to see him throw besides the videos I see on YouTube, but just watching it, it's absolutely unreal. I wish I had the chance to try to catch him.
So, being a catcher, being behind the plate, and obviously you guys, people don't realize how hard a catcher has to work during a baseball game. Yeah, I think somebody else joined us on the phone. Somebody's got their computer on. They got to turn that off. Anybody with their computer playing in the background, please mute the volume. Who joined us? Is this the coach? Did we finally get John Blair on the phone? John, are you there?
This is not John Boyer. This is Eddie Aucoin.
Okay, Eddie. Well, your coach is missing in action, man.
Good, you.
Hey, Darrick Brown's here, too.
Hey, Darrick.
So, Eddie, you're joining us a little bit early, but you know what? That's okay because the coach is missing in action. We got to send a search party out for him. I don't think he wanted to corral all you fellas this up. Did you guys put out a new help wanted sign for a new head coach yet?
No, I actually don't know the head coach. I played with the King in his court back in 98 through 2001.
And how was that experience, man?
It was pretty incredible. I was very, very fortunate to play with Eddie. It was just kind of something that fell into my lap. I was more of a baseball player, and I was kind of a fish out of water when I first started playing with Eddie. But I learned the ropes with those guys, with Rich Hoppy and Eddie, and it was really just a great experience in my life. Got to see a lot of places, got to travel, and got to play a lot of great teams.
So obviously, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, we're talking to the Diamond Kings all the way up from Toronto, Canada. Obviously, the catchers up in New York by Syracuse. These guys are spread all over the United States. Eddie Aucoin just joined us on the phone line this evening. Eddie, where are you located at, man?
I'm located in Clearwater, Florida now. I was from the Boston area, and I played over in Europe the last few years. I played baseball, but I just recently relocated to Clearwater, Florida.
Well, you're the only smart one in the bunch, man. You went where it's warm.
Yeah, that's right.
We're all idiots staying up here north where it's cold, and we still haven't seen spring yet. So you're the smart one in the bunch.
I can't say that I miss it much.
No, I can't blame you. But tell me, man, you started playing a few years with the regular King in his court, and obviously it was just a couple years before Eddie Feigner suffered his stroke, right?
Right, that's correct. Yeah, I caught him right at the very end.
So being an outfielder and a catcher, you were a catcher too?
I was actually a shortstop with Eddie, and I was not a catcher to begin with, but just kind of out of necessity, I became a catcher. I caught for Rich, so when Eddie would pitch the first inning, I would play shortstop. After that, I would typically catch the rest of the game.
Now, you guys only had 4 guys on the team, right?
We did, yeah. So, back in those days, I could run a little bit. Not anymore, unfortunately. But I could. As a shortstop, I pretty much had to cover the whole field, and that was one reason I guess I got the job, because I could run a little bit back in the day, and I didn't mind chasing the ball down when they put it in play.
So basically, what did you guys have? You had an outfielder, a catcher, a pitcher, and a shortstop. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep. And the pitchers we had were just so good. Eddie was in his mid-70s by the time I played with him, and it was amazing for him to even be out there. But he could still throw it between his legs, behind his back. He could throw blindfolded and still get it over the plate. And then we had Rich Hoppy, who I'm not sure if you talked about him already, but he even then he was around 50 years old or so, but he could do so many great things. I mean, and no matter who we were playing, he could step up his game, and he could usually get it by just about anybody back then.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, on the phone with us all the way from Clearwater, Florida right now, Eddie Aucoin, another member of the Diamondbacks fast pitch softball team. These guys are spread out throughout Canada, the United States. There's only one smart one we're talking to right now all the way in Clearwater who likes the warm weather. What kind of a baseball background did you come from, Eddie, before you got into this fast pitch stuff?
Before I got into fast pitch, I almost came right out of college. I played for Flagler College in St. Augustine, and actually my senior year I went through an elbow injury, so I rehabbed for a year, and then I came back down to school to work out because I had a few tryouts coming out, so I worked out a little bit, and through great timing, the king in his court happened to be going through Florida, a man short at the time, so I filled in for him. It was my college coach who got me hooked up because he played with them back in the 80s for a year or two. So I played a 2-week tour with them, and it went great. It was such a good time. And after that, I signed in an independent league as a shortstop, baseball. And then I got a call a few months later from Eddie asking if I wanted to join full time. So I left baseball at that time and played with him. And then I ended up going back to baseball after 3 years with the court.
Wow, man, that sounds like an interesting time. And, obviously covering the entire infield. You must have been one heck of a good runner, man. So congratulations on that. There's not many guys that could probably do something like that. I know.
Thank you. I was very fortunate. I was happy to do it back then. I mean, it was an honor to play with Eddie, and it was such a good time to travel and just play ball for a living for 3 years, just to see Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. It was just it was quite a blessing to do that for as long as I did.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take another short break. We got a lot more coming up for the second half of the Cleveland Sports 360 show. On the phone with us live all the way from Canada, Clearwater, Florida, Syracuse, New York, the Diamond Kings. They're all over the continental United States and in Canada. When we come back, we're going to have more about fast pitch baseball and the legend himself, Eddie Feigner. He's not going to join us because we'd have to dig him up first. But these other guys are going to be on the phone throughout the evening. Sit back, relax, don't turn that dial. We'll be right back with more of the Cleveland Sports 360 show in about 1 minute. ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Cleveland Sports 360 show. On the phone lines with us tonight is the Diamond Kings Juice Baseball, all the way from Clearwater, Florida, Syracuse, New York, Toronto, Canada, and even further north than that. These guys come together to bring honor and glory to fast pitch softball, and when these guys get together, it's going to be a phenomenon event that you just have to witness. Hey, Justin, I got to shoot something by you, you being the administrator. Can you still hear me, Justin?
Yeah, I can hear you.
And I don't mean any disrespect by this either, you guys, so take a little, take a breather for a second. I got to run this by you, man. Is there any members of Eddie Feigner's family still in existence? Do you guys know of anybody that's still alive that had ties to this king?
Son.
None?
His son.
Oh, his son. Well, if I was you, I would get permission, because I don't know if you noticed this, but like a couple weeks ago, Hugo Chavez passed away, right?
Yes.
And they got a special glass top coffin, and they took this guy around for people to see him for a couple weeks. If you could get Eddie to go on tour with you one more time, it might be worthwhile.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that could be borderline disrespectful, right? But I'm telling you, this guy.
I think Chavez was a little fresher.
This guy was such a hero that people would flock out to the ballpark to see him again. I'm telling you, man.
Maybe a bronze statue or something would work better.
Maybe you should get one of those then. Yeah, put them out there with you guys. But I'm telling you, I'm always thinking of an angle to get more publicity for something that's a startup business. You know what I mean? But hey, back to baseball, folks. When is your season going to kick off, Justin?
Our season kicks off. Let me just check here for you. It is on June 7th through 9th.
And where are you going to be playing?
We're going to be playing in Cobourg, Ontario at that point.
Wow, man, that's all the way up in Canada. So you're going to come to the United States because you got a team in Michigan, I hear, right?
Well, yeah, we got the American side as well, and Darrick Brown, who's on the line there as well. He's our Michigan guy, and we'll be setting up tournaments in and around your area. And we already got you in mind, Larry, so we're going to be coming to your town too, and we're going to get you out in the diamond, and we're going to let.
I'll tell you what, man. Right across the street, we have the Lake County Captains, which is a minor league affiliation to the Cleveland Indians, and what we ought to really work on is trying to get an exhibition set up over there. And I'll see what I can do to bring you guys down here to the Lake County Captains Stadium. Maybe you guys could play against the Lake County Captains, which is a minor league baseball team. But I think that they would be interested in something like that because they're always doing extra events. And they got guys. I mean, this is where Fasto Carmona, whatever his name is now, the guy that got stuck in
Roberto Hernandez.
Right. I wanted to call him Roberto Fasto Can't Run to First Base, Fall Down, Carmona Hernandez. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw him fall over first base when he had to, hit the baseball playing the Cincinnati Reds because they don't use a DH in the National League Park. The guy almost killed himself. It was the funniest thing. My fiance is not really a fan of baseball, but when she saw that, she wanted to continue to see the replay every time she could. She laughed her ass off, man.
Well, I missed that one. I'll have to Google it.
Oh, man, Google that, because you got to see this guy try to, his top half of his body was clearly trying to go 2 times faster than the lower half was allowing. Even the guys in the bullpen got up and started cracking up laughing when they seen Fasto fall over first base. But he actually did. He did pull an ass muscle or something like that, man, and had to leave the game after that. It was funny as hell, though, man. You had to see it. But back to the Diamond
Kings. What you need to do, you need to call up Swisher and Tito and get them down and have some of our pitchers throw to him.
You want to throw to Tito himself?
Yeah, and Swisher. I'm kind of upset as a Yankees fan that the Yankees let him go, but that'd be a fun time.
You being a Yankees fan, I just got to run something by you real quick, okay? The guy's 39 years old. He's coming back from a dislocated ankle, stress fracture of the leg. He's got all kinds of pins and screws in his ankle. Who am I talking about?
Derek Jeter.
Absolutely. So I wrote an article on my USA Sports 360 site, and I said, is it time for the New York Yankees to hold a Say Goodbye to Derek Jeter Day? What's your opinion on that, man?
I see. The guy's an absolute legend, and every time anybody's counted him out, he's come back and proved him wrong. And, his range has gone down a lot, but you know what? You notice one thing? He never boots the ball. He may not get to everything he does, but he doesn't miss a ball.
Well, he didn't miss a ball yet,
he works harder than anybody else, and he may have to take some games off at shortstop and DH, but you can't take the legend out until he's ready to go.
Now, I assume this is Bryan.
I would say no.
I assume this is Bryan Burrows on the phone talking about Jeter, right?
Yep.
I just want to clarify that for our viewers out there. Bryan Burrows Ingalls is a Yankees fan, so when he comes to Cleveland, we're going to have to throw garbage at him. But seriously, man, seriously, he hasn't missed the ball yet. Now let me ask you another question, Bryan. Do you think Jeter has gotten a hold of A-Rod in the offseason to try to get a few of these PEDs from him or what?
I would hope he does, but probably not.
Hey, do you guys have Travis Hafner in a New York uniform this year?
I heard they signed him to a minor league deal, but I haven't heard much of anything about him in spring training, so who knows what he's doing.
Well,
talk about PEDs.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Yeah. When they took steroids out of baseball, that's when Hafner started failing a little bit. But I got to tell you something, man. Just look,
his whole career.
Right, just look on the bench, and you'll be able to find Travis Hafner. On the he definitely.
He might be in the stands somewhere this year for somebody.
So you don't think the Yankees are going to bring him up to the big park, huh?
I don't think so. I don't think he's got a shot.
Okay,
McMahon might bring him up.
So obviously we got. Maybe you could get him to play fast pitch, and you guys could strike out a big league DH.
Not a bad idea.
So let me ask you guys, who else is on the phone line? Did we miss anybody so far that we never did hear from John Blair, did we?
Eric Brown's here.
Eric Brown, how you doing, Mr. Brown?
I'm doing good.
Give us a little bit about your background and how you got into fast pitch, and where are you at right now, man?
I'm from Kalamazoo, Michigan, Darrick Jeter's hometown, since you guys started talking about him.
Am I in
played
trouble?
Against him several times. Yeah, played against him a ton of times in my life and everything. And my fastest background. My family was huge into fast pitch. I had about 6 or 7 uncles. My father, who in my mind is the best fast pitch player to ever live, is the reason why I got into it when I was 14 years old, and I've been playing for about 25 years now.
Now, this is Darrick Brown on the phone, all the way from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Now, Darrick, you're also a pitcher and a catcher, is that correct?
That's right.
And you played against...
Well, I try to tell everybody I'm actually a hitter. I'm a hitter. I tell Dwayne all the time I'm not a pitcher, I'm a hitter.
Well, let me ask you a question, man. When you played against Jeter, what were you doing then? Were you a pitcher or a catcher?
I was striking Jeter out, actually. You couldn't hit a curveball back then.
See that, man? It's those steroids they gave him, right?
He is a little bigger now, yeah, he's been learning how to hit the curveball now.
Now, where was Jeter? In your hometown? I mean, you guys were kids playing? Where were you playing? Tell me what kind of organized ball.
I played Little League against him. He was from Westwood Little League, and then I played in one of the other little leagues nearby, and then I also played high school and summer ball with him as well.
Now, you're one of the guys, Darrick Brown, that actually toured and played with Eddie Feigner in The King in His Court, right?
Actually, I didn't play with Eddie. I'm only 39 years old. I actually played in the last tour where the last year of King in His Court, which is 2011, and played with Rich Hoppy and the rest of the guys.
So was poor Mr. Fainer was already deceased by the time you got involved?
Yeah, but my dad played against him. I watched my dad play against him. I actually played against him as well, but he was probably 69, 70 years old. He did pitch a little bit that day and did his pitch show and everything. But they had a big thrower, Mike Pranshaw, throwing for him that day. And then I got to coach against them, actually, when I coached the Chicago Bandits of the Women's Professional League.
So Darrick Brown, all the way in Kalamazoo, Michigan, folks, is joining us on the phone with the Diamond Kings all the way in Canada. We got him in Clearwater, Florida. We got him in Syracuse, New York. Darrick, how did you get involved with these Diamond Kings? First of all, it's Canadian guys calling you up or making contact with you in one way or the other to play fast-pitch baseball. Were you a little bit confused that they didn't go to the plate with a hockey stick in their hand trying to hit one of these softballs or what?
You know what? I think the reason why we hit it off so well is I'm a hockey coach as well. You know, Michigan's just right next to Canada, so we definitely we got along really well from the start. Facebook actually is the way we connected, and we started talking about the idea of putting the team together, and I wasn't sure if it was really going to happen, but it's certainly looking like it's happening now.
So how excited?
Hey, it's Charlie Dobbins from Denver, North Carolina.
Charlie Dobson, another legend, folks, is joining us all the way from North Carolina. Charlie, you just hang in there. We're going to get to you in a minute, my friend. But right now we're talking to Darrick Brown all the way from Kalamazoo, Michigan. He got together with these Diamond Kings all the way in Canada, getting ready to play some fast pitch. His father obviously played against Eddie Feigner in the Diamond Kings. Now, what did your father think, Darrick Brown? What did your dad think about a guy like Fainer since he got to face him?
Well, like I was saying before, you know, I always thought my dad was the best player that ever lived, but he always talks about this guy named Eddie Feigner, and I didn't know who he was. I was just a kid, you know, and the day that King of the Court came into town, you know, I was just like, I got to see this, you know, because anybody that my dad, you know, puts so high, you know, up, and you know, I want to see this guy. And I heard about throwing blindfold, throwing behind his back, throwing from second base, all that stuff, and striking people out. And I had to see it. And yeah, Eddie was definitely amazing.
Well, not only did the guy strike people out, but I heard one time he had an exhibition game. He faced some of the biggest major league hitters in that era, struck out guys consecutively in a row like Willie Mays, Brooks Robertson, Roberto Clemente, Harmon Killebrew. I mean, all these guys that this guy faced, and he put them down in order. It was just a phenomenal scene I heard in a charity game at one point, right?
Yep, that's correct. And actually, Charlie Dobbins, who just joined us, he would be the one that would be able to tell you, you know, everybody that was involved in that, because he was with Eddie the longest, I think.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to Charlie in a minute, but, you know, this is an action-packed hour full of baseball. Really, we should have made it a 2-hour show with all you guys. But, hey, what do you think about this head coach not showing up tonight, Darrick? Are you a little bit concerned that the Diamondbacks might need to
I think his dad's going to go with us.
Actually, you know what? I've been telling Dwayne, what do we need a coach for anyways? Because that's what I've been doing my whole life. I've been coaching, you know, so I got a world championship at the MTF level, so I'm like, hey, I'll coach the team, no problem. I don't even need to play. These guys are good enough anyways.
Yeah, that's what it's starting to sound like, the baseball experience. Hey, Justin, if you had to put the years of experience of baseball, a label on this team, how many years of experience do you think we're looking at? Or should I be asking Dwayne this question?
Ask Dwayne, but I'll give you a guess of, I don't know, a couple of thousand.
Unbelievable, man. Dwayne, what's your guess, man?
I'm trying to add up ages here. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not going to give ages away because I'll get killed after this is over. But I will tell you this. This team is loaded with experience. Loaded. You know, you take Darrick, you take Eddie, you take Charlie. All the guys in this team, Joni Henniger, Mike Piechnik. I mean, it's the best of the best. I'm not going to put an age on that. You shouldn't ask me a question like that.
No, I didn't ask for an age. I said years of experience, man. You know, I mean,
oh, good Lord.
You know, when you're talk years of,
here.
You know, that's a lot of years of experience. These guys know baseball inside and out. I mean, you got guys from the college.
They certainly do.
You know,
they certainly do. And you know what? I'll tell them because I got them on the phone with you now. I'm just very proud of everybody that's joined this team.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see it,
Eddie,
man.
to Charlie, to Mike, to Jody. I could go on for an hour again. But you know what? The mere fact that this has gone from a pipe dream, or, you know, just a mere thought with a ton of doubters, and now we're at the point where it's going to become reality, you know, it just makes me happy. And this team is there superstars on this team? Absolutely. But the guys are all talking to each other. We talk all the time.
Well, that's
We're
phenomenal.
so distributed throughout North America and Canada, and we have Jason Gerbs and Brad Rona in New Zealand,
Wow.
Tommy Crouch in the States. We talk all the time.
I just-
Everybody talks to each other. So
I just want to run one.
Is it a superstar team? No.
I want to run one thing
Very
by you
simple.
guys,
One
man.
team, one goal.
You ready
That's
for
the best
this?
way I can put it.
Dwayne, Justin, make sure everybody has a valid passport before you put one of these games together so they can get across the border.
Yeah.
It ain't like the old
That's
days.
kind of important, right?
And obviously, you probably don't have any guys on the team that received a DUI lately because they don't let you in Canada when you try to cross the border if you had a DUI. So that strikes out.
We got Rick Grog listening in. We're not sure about him. I'm just kidding. He's good to go.
That strikes out a few of the major league ball players if they wanted to join the Diamondbacks. If you had a DUI, you're not going to Canada, pal. But ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome all the way from North Carolina a man that traveled the United States probably a couple of times at least with the original king in his court, Mr. Charlie Dobbins. How you doing there, Charlie?
I'm doing wonderful. I hope everybody up in the sunny Canadian Northland is doing well.
Well, you know what? I mean,
Yeah, thanks.
I was telling these guys.
Because North Carolina has been a winter wonderland for the last 2 months.
Well, it's got to be a little bit better than what we're doing here in Cleveland, Ohio, right now. And and I was telling you might be the second smartest guy on this Diamond Kings team. The first smartest guy's down there in Clearwater, Florida. You're halfway between me and that guy in Florida. So you might be the second smartest guy. But tell me, Charlie, what kind of an honor was it, and what year did you start playing with the king in his court?
First games I played with him, I played against him in the 80s a lot, okay, in the New England area. But first time I really hooked up with him would have been in the early 90s. And that was after playing against him a couple times in New England and becoming actually really good friends with Rich Hoppy and actually helping develop the King of Diamonds program. From creating the website and to the events that we were doing with that program right there, and that program was certainly it was about ball, but it was more about life lessons and working with inner city kids and everything that comes with that, but by teaching them the value of what being a team member was, and really just mostly the rest of it was just about great life skills.
Now, living in North Carolina, I just got to ask your opinion on something. Did you guys ever consider of going down to Charlotte and trying to march Michael Jordan out of basketball, or what?
Well, first of all, you have to understand I am a huge NC State Wolfpack fan, so anything to do with the Tar Heels is usually not a good thing. But that being said, yeah, Michael's he's got all his troubles down there. I wish him all the luck. The Bobcats. I just think there's so much, with all the history of basketball in North Carolina, I think there's so much more that they could be doing. But hopefully they'll right the ship and make it all work.
Well, on June 22nd, myself, LG, will be traveling right through Charlotte, North Carolina, probably around 11 a.m. in the morning, man. So if you see a white Honda Pilot going faster than the speed of sound, that'll be me, okay? Because you guys drive like crazy bastards down there in North Carolina.
Durham and on 85, if you go 20 minutes down the road, and you can find me at my batting cage at my facility here in Raleigh. And actually, I had Darrick came in a couple of years ago and did a couple of camps with me, and so he's been here. He's well aware of it. But come on down to Raleigh, and we'll show you around Tobacco Road.
Well, that'll be one of these days. I can't guarantee it June 22nd, but one of these days, you never know. But let's talk about it a little bit. You got the batting cage. You talk about, what's really big for you guys is to get these youths involved in baseball. I mean, you hear a lot about the First Tee program in golf, and they try to work with inner city youths to teach them a game of honor and glory, like golf's supposed to be. You guys seem to be doing the same thing and using baseball as the tool. How is that working out for you, Charlie?
Well, I mean, and it's honestly, I'll tell you what. I mean, I was born with a kind of a ball in my hand from 4 years old on. That's been my passion, and I'm just very fortunate to have a job as a head coach at a collegiate institution and owning a facility like that. So anything I can do to pass on those kind of legacies and the love of the game, I'm gonna completely do that. Being here in the Triangle, we're very fortunate. I mean, it's the home of USA Baseball now. We have the facility right here in Cary. Up the street, the Durham Bulls, one of the most famous minor league teams in the country, sitting right there. So there's a lot of great history in the Carolinas as far as professional baseball, and there's a huge passion for it here on the youth side. And everything we can do to help promote it while promoting a good cause and a cause that is betterment for our youth, then that's something we're going to really try to push.
Now, going out of order, I'm going to switch back to Darrick Brown a little bit. Darrick, correct me if I'm wrong, but you do something with youth too and do some coaching, right?
Yep. Actually, I've been training kids for 20 years in my academy, Brown Fast Pitch Academy in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and then I do camps.
What's the name of that academy again? Make sure you get that picture up, Jeff, will you? Brown's?
Brown Fast Pitch Academy.
Oh, Fast Pitch Academy, yeah, okay. Because we got a nice picture. Tell us a little bit about that, man.
It's basically West Michigan, mostly West Michigan kids. I do have some kids from Indiana that come up, and I just do a lot of individual lessons, team clinics, things like that, and then I also travel. I go all over the country and do clinics. I've been fortunate to go to Hawaii, California, Florida, places like that. Obviously, down there where Charlie had mentioned, North Carolina, which is one of my favorite places to go now. Hope he's going to have me come back someday. But
absolutely, bro, no problem.
But
the way he just talked about. The way he just talked about winter in North Carolina, I'd be hooking up with that guy down there in Clearwater, Florida, man. That's what I'd be doing.
I'm all about that.
Come on down anytime. You're welcome.
So tell me, what are you doing down there in Clearwater? You got any baseball clinics, baseball camps? Do you work with any youth? What do you guys do?
I sure do. Actually, I'm just 2 years out of playing overseas. 2 years ago, I was still playing baseball in the Netherlands. And I have a son down here now, so I hung up the cleats to spend some more time with my boy. He's 1.5 years old, so he's the reason I'm down here. I do work with some. Actually, in the off season for years, that's all I did was give lessons. And I wrote a book a couple years ago about how to get into pro ball to help young players get into pro ball. So I do a little bit more work with that now.
Well, what's the name of that book?
The book is called Live the Dream, Get Paid to Play Baseball.
And how do people go about...
There's actually a website for it. It's called playprobaseball.com.
There you have it, folks. Get that book, playprobaseball.com. So that's phenomenal, man. And it actually helped. What do you think? A guy on a high school level, college, where would you go? What's that book really aimed at, man, to help people get into the pros?
The book is aimed at guys that really have a chance to sign from high school on. So, it actually, some of the book is dedicated to parents to help their kids get signed at an early age, the things they can do starting at age 14, 15 or so. And then it kind of moves progressively up as a high school player, what can you do to increase your visibility to scouts? And then as a college player, the same. And then what happens if you get overlooked in the draft? What can you do then? What are your options as far as contacting scouts? And then if MLB doesn't want you, what can you do overseas? I spent 8 years playing ball overseas, so there's quite a few opportunities out there that
what about
people
this?
Don't know about. So
what about the Frontier? Have you heard of the Frontier Baseball League?
I have, yeah. I played in the Independent League for a few years. I played in the Northern League, the Northeast League, and the Frontier League is a younger league. That's more of a rookie league. Guys right out of college, maybe overlooked in the draft, or maybe released 1 year out. It's a competitive league. It's in the Midwest. A lot of guys get picked up out of there because it's a young league.
Yeah, we got a team about 40 minutes away from here in Avon Lake, Ohio. But listen, all you guys that are all over the country, I really appreciate you taking the time and joining us here on the Cleveland Sports 360 show tonight. I'm going to dismiss everybody except Justin and Dwayne because we got to go through some sponsorship activity. Charlie Dobson, it was a pleasure to meet you, sir. I wish you all the continued.
Thank you very much. Hey, Eddie Aucoin's been about a million years, but good to hear your voice.
Charlie, great to hear you too, buddy. Take care. Hope to talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
Hey, thanks all you guys for phoning in. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, guys. Great show.
Hey, it was our pleasure, man. And you'll be able to go to the Cleveland Sports 360 YouTube channel and review the show, see the repeat. But thank you, guys.
Sounds good. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for joining us, man. Is Bryan still on the phone?
you.
Brian, you still on the phone, Brian?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hey, do me a favor, man. Call me the day Jeter gets it ready to hang it up, okay?
Oh, I will for sure.
I appreciate it,
It'll be a
man.
few years, but I'll give you a call.
No, I think it'll be probably before the All-Star break, man, is the way I see it.
I got it.
Hey, best of luck to you, man. Keep up the good work, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Okay, there you have it, folks. We had all these people. Jeff, turn off the music, please. We still have a couple of minutes of show left we got to get through here. Because this was such a action-packed show, we're going to run a couple minutes late. Justin.
Yes, sir.
And Dwayne.
Yeah?
I just wanted to make sure if you guys listened and you didn't hang up the phone, man, that you're still there. Obviously, it takes a lot to put something to this, to this level together. Tell us a little bit about who helps you, and I guess we can start with Justin because he's the administrator. Run through your sponsors for us real quick, Justin, will you, buddy?
Few sponsors for you to go by here. They're nice enough. Because we're Canadian and we're known for our politeness, we're not going to leave you empty-handed, LG. Some of our sponsors have stepped up to the plate. We're going to send you over some product. You can send it out to some kids in your neighborhood, and hopefully they enjoy them. But first I'm going to start with Tater Grip. It's something that is a favorite product of mine. I'm a user of Tater Grip. I'm the Canadian distributor of it. You can Google it at www.tatergrip.com. Increase your bat speed, reduce vibration and impact, simple installation, all sorts of colors and designs and custom colors available. I love this product. It increased my slugging percentage hugely last year when I used it. I don't know if hugely is a word, but we're going to use it. Second sponsor here, another innovative product. It's the Bump Ball out of New Mexico. My buddy Carlos. I also have the Canadian rights to this because I love this product.
What is the Bump Ball, man?
The Bump Ball. I wouldn't recommend you use that. That's for younger kids. You need to got some serious reflexes for that, especially when your buddies start whipping that ball at you. It's an uneven ball, and you just take some grounders. It's good to teach catchers how to square up on a ball. It's good to teach shortstops and second basemen how to keep their eye and get down on the ball, and you got to be on your toes because that ball could change direction at any second. Unbelievable product. We're going to get you over a couple of those. Another one of my favorites, Vitilia Sports, and I can't believe this product isn't available in every single sporting goods store. Because if you ask any Cuban or Dominican Major League Baseball player, they grew up playing Vitilia.
Yeah, but hold on a minute, man. You're talking Cuban. Is it legal in the United States?
It's
we had that embargo ever since.
Duty on that, you don't get any cigars with it. But basically, it's a disc. It doesn't scratch. It doesn't dent. You can play with it in a suburban area. It's not going to break any windows. Comes at you with a wicked curveball. Forces you to keep that front leg in there. Eliminates what we call jelly leg. Guys that are afraid of being hit by curveballs coming in and working their way out on you. It's incredible. It's affordable. Highly recommend that for people of all ages. And finally, we got a book for you, a book for your partner there, and maybe another book from my buddy Frank Morris, the author of Ask Your Uncle Trivia. We're going to send you over the baseball trivia book. It's a must-have for a person in your position, LG.
I'm going to cry, man. I got tears forming in my eyes. Nobody ever gives me nothing, man. Can you believe that? I get a couple T-shirts from my buddy Fox out there in EastLABrownsfans.com. But other than that, man, I'm mostly empty-handed. So is that anything else? Any other sponsors? Did we miss anybody? What's that YAU or whatever it was? What was that all about?
AYU, that's Ask Your Uncle, AYU.
Oh, that's the book.
Yeah, that's the book, yeah.
Okay, Ask Your Uncle. So the picture is the guy is somebody's uncle, huh?
I guess that's Frank's uncle. I don't know. He's got football as well. He does a couple of sports. We're going to send you over the baseball one.
Well, thanks a lot, man. I definitely appreciate it. We're going to go back to Dwayne real quick. Dwayne, putting something together of this magnitude, it has to be touching to your heart to see the cooperation from guys that love the game as much as you do all over the continental, well, really, we're talking the North American continent now, not the continental United States. What does this mean?
You got to make sure you get New Zealand in there.
Well, New Zealand, God, geez, that's a long way
I
from
sucked
here.
at geography.
Yeah, me too, but that's a long way, to New Zealand.
It is, and you know what? When you can pull 25 guys together from all over the world, what's that say? I mean, it's a team. It's dream team, but win, lose, we're going to play with humility. We're going to do the charity thing wherever we can. And I mean, our main goal, don't get me wrong, is to go to Torino and win it. That's why this team was put together, but there's nothing wrong with helping people out, like Charlie said, along the way. And
that's what it's all about, man.
God bless every single guy that joined this team. It was a pipe dream, and now it's coming to reality. And look out for us in 2013.
Well, let me tell you something. When you come to the United States, Dwayne, make sure you leave that pipe in Canada, because crossing the border with a pipe in your car could be hazardous to everybody involved. You know what I'm talking about, man?
We will leave it here.
Tell me one more time, how long does an NFL quarterback with shoulder problems have left to play in the NFL?
About a year, maybe a year.
Unbelievable.
2 years. Year or 2 years.
Well, listen, you guys, we're going to let you go. You're welcome to come back. We just have to make arrangements. If you ever find this manager, coach, who's missing in action, we could do another show and have him involved. How's that sound?
Unfortunately, we paid him in advance, so...
Hey, Mr. Administrator, cancel that check, okay? Get a stop check.
I told him, I said, you wanted a businessman, but you should have gone for a successful one.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. Anybody else you want to put it? Dwayne, one more time. Give us the name of the website.
Well, Justin's got it better than me, but it's basically www.juicesbaseball.wix.com/Diamond Kings.
There you have it,
and
folks.
Feel free to join us, message us, or, send us friend requests and support us, I guess is the best way to put it.
Dwayne Curtis on Facebook and Justin Tersigni. I'm going to get it.
It took him an hour, and he still can't get it right.
I want to say Tersigni, man. That's what I want to say. Justin Tersigni, but it's Justin Tersigni on Facebook.
That's right.
Or the Diamond Kings on Facebook, right?
That's right.
All right, you guys, good night. God bless you, man. Best of luck to you. I hope to hear from you again in the future, and I'll be talking to you.
LG.
I'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you very much, Larry.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, man. There you have it, folks. Guys, for the love of the game, bringing back fast pitch. Eddie Feiner's last request on his deathbed was keep fast pitch alive. I want to thank my board man, the man behind the wheels of steel tonight, Mr. Jeff Leaf, who come down all the way from across town to make sure this show was properly engineered. Leaf, thank you very much, buddy, man. You've been a big help.
LG, thank you very much. I had a great time listening to these guys. There's some good men there.
All over the continental United States. A special shout-out to Charlie Dobbins, all the way from North Carolina. We had Darrick Brown. I think he's from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Bryan, Burrows, Ingalls, all the way from close to Syracuse, New York. Unbelievable, man, how these guys, if I left anybody out, I apologize. Thank you very much, Dwayne Curtis, and Justin Tersigni. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next Monday night again at 7 p.m. Don't forget, Friday night, it's the You Gotta Be Freaking Kidding Me show. You gotta see these guys. They're absolutely 100% lunatics. Until then, God bless you. Say your prayers. Help somebody out. Be kind. We'll see you next week with more of the Cleveland Sports 360 show.